That'd be my Italian bike. I read something about the electric bike market. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit on the next, on one of the next upcoming shows. So yeah, notes if I think of any little technical information, that's pertinent to you and you becoming one with your machine, that will be included in the show at no additional costs, guys. Like, look, you're not going to see a fucking donate button at this program. I may in the future. Look, guys, look, that's one thing I have on here, parts, getting the right shit. I know it's frustrating. So what I normally do with any other Robcast, okay, is that I'm not going to put up a donate button. We're going to bring you the Robcast for 100% free. You can download it. You can listen to it later. We're always constantly advancing as far as our sound quality, maybe interesting interviews and stuff like that, guys. Come on, I got a drag racing and radio background, and working on motorcycles, building machine tools. I've met a lot of very interesting people in this world in my 43 years on this planet. I have actually I've owned as many motorcycles as you've seen in your life, and I've worked on as many motorcycles that you will see in your entire life. And that's a fact. That's not a boast. That's not any kind of braggery at all. That's just a fact, ladies and gentlemen. So, that being said, I just thought, hey, maybe we bring you a little bit of this moto knowledge over the interwebs and see what the knuckleheads think, right? Man, my first motorcycle that I really got, that was mine, that I was gonna like. I would hear this one little dirt bike. There was a place called Honda Hills. We lived in Freeport, Texas, and behind the subdivision that we lived in was this place, and now I realize it was just some drainage ditches, but it was all dirt, and you can go down and up and jump. And I would always hear this little ming, 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 ming. Hear this kid out there jumping and stuff. And they called it Honda Hills. How I wanted to be at Honda Hills. And whenever I turned, let's see, I had gotten for my birthday was March of 1982. March of 1982, I got a 1980 Yamaha YZ80. So we're talking a Yamaha YZ80 that was 2 years old, and it needed the top end redone. Anyone that knows anything, okay guys, maybe you don't know, not two-stroke motorcycles, dirt bikes, back in the day, are a little bit high maintenance, but they're pretty easy to maintain if you keep up with it, just like everything else, if you keep up with it. So this motorcycle needed a new top end, needed a new piston, rings, gasket, needle bearings, circlips, probably carburetor kit. I was 9 years old at the time. I turned, that was the, 73, 83, 82. Yes, I turned 9 years old, March of 1982, and got this broken motorcycle by Christmas time, guys. Yeah, by Christmas time. Well, actually, let's see, for Christmas, what I got was a card. My big gift was a card, and it said, anything that you need to finish your motorcycle from Carl Pierce Yamaha. Carl Pierce Yamaha was our local Yamaha dealership in Freeport, Texas at the time. So I can remember, like, after the motorcycle place opened up after Christmas, we went and got the parts because, Santa left me a note, right, that gave me, carte blanche with whatever I needed. Actually, we went in there and got what we needed to, for my stepfather to rebuild this 1980 Yamaha YZ80, which, thinking back, what a nasty first motorcycle to have had, okay? I'll tell you what I ended up with in a minute, but get everything to rebuild this, the top end and redo the carb and all that kind of stuff. And I can remember this was like right around New Year's. I can remember those stepdad saying something like, "Go put your motocross boots on and stuff." She's ready. She's finished. She's put gas in her. And I went and put my boots on. I had my helmet and underneath my arm. I already basically knew how to ride. I just hadn't ridden this motorcycle yet. I didn't have one of my own. Well, guess what? I was so excited, man. I put on my little motocross boots, got my helmet ready. I'm out there. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for my to get them blisters on my hands, man. You know what I mean? I'd only had that once or twice by riding, some friends' motorcycles and stuff like that. And we would go out to the country, and we had some mini bikes out there that I could ride that belonged to my father's boss. And but anyway, okay, so we'll get the fucking open the garage door, and it looks like a brand new YZ80 number plates, yellow and white. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. So the old stepdad rolls it out, kind of not out of the garage, but towards the opening, towards the light. And you know what? Like, all I had to do was crank the bike up. I put my helmet on, and I take a left. I go behind the house. I go a half a block. I don't even have to get off the I don't even have to get on the pavement or anything. This is all in the dirt, and I'm at Honda Hills. Mac mac. I'm at Honda Hills. That's all I could think about. So he wheels the motorcycle up, wheels it up close to the opening of the garage. He pulls the old throttle back once or twice and looks at everything again and kicks it one time, nothing happens. Dang it. Kicks it a second time and it cranks up. Boom! Redlined. All the way redlined out. And all I could see was I looked down and there was smoke coming out from where the engine is. And there was just oil dumping onto the floor. Yeah. Hung wide open. And just fucking blew up right there. The engine's fucking something just disintegrated. Oil just dripped all down onto the floor. Didn't fill the garage with smoke. There was smoke willowing through the air. And I was like, well, okay. I was like, what's up? What's the deal? Is this something, I guess, what, do we need to, like, change the oil in it real quick or what? I'm ready to ride. Like, no, Robbie, go take off your boots. Just put your helmet up. This shit ain't happening today. And you know what? It never did happen on that bike either. That bike got parked and it was roached. It was done, son. So yeah, maybe the old stepdad should have just taken it to old Carl Pierce. Maybe Santa should have just paid Carl to do it. I don't know. But it did not work out to my best advantage. But what did work out is a couple months later, see, that was right around New Year's, 82, 83. God, man, it's hard to go back that far, but somewhere around a few months after that, we moved out to the country, and my sister's boyfriend had a 1960 Yamaha 60. It was a little two-stroke. It wasn't quite as nasty as the 80, but guess what? I ended up with it, and the very first thing I did on it was ride a wheelie and flip it right in front of my mom. And guess what? I got back on it, cranked it back up, and and I can remember too, I was like going. I was like, wait, I don't remember how to turn. I don't know how to turn. Which way do I turn? But I turned, and then I heard my brother in that old Kawasaki KE 185. Might have been a KE 175 or KE 185. Ripping through there. Wah, 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 wah. Ring, dang, 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 dang. Ring, ding, 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 ding. Ring, ding, 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 ding. So yeah, that was my first motorcycle story. But you know what? It only made me want to ride more. It didn't like even the times that I've had, troubles been wadded up. It might have it makes me think a little bit more about motorcycling, and that's probably one of the big reasons, being wadded up a couple of dozen times. It makes me want to bring just a little bit of knowledge to some knuckleheads out there, because Lord knows I have been that knucklehead. And speaking of knuckleheads, you know what? Only one idiot makes us all look bad. That one person doing stupid shit, cutting in and out of cars and splitting lanes. And I know that that's legal in some places, splitting lanes where you ride in between the lines of cars. I know it's very dangerous, guys. But if you think of it like this, okay, guys? Think of a ceiling, right? With hundreds of perfect tiles all in rows on a ceiling. You're looking up at this ceiling, right? And it's a beautiful ceiling, and all the ceiling tiles are all perfectly laid out. They're all perfectly in a row. They're all exactly facing the same way. But guess what? There's one tile missing, or one tile broken. And let me tell you something. You're going to focus on that one missing tile, that one broken tile. You're not going to focus on those hundreds of other perfectly laid out perfect tiles. So don't let one idiot discourage you from motorcycling, or don't let one idiot make you think that all motorcyclists are like that, because they're not. Most of us are just trying to get from point A to point B and enjoy a little bit of freedom in the meantime and in between time. You hear me? I'm saying? And we'll talk a little bit, guys, about a mechanic or technician or an engineer versus a parts changer. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about this, but look, let's say, I've got a note here, pre-diagnosis by your customer. Whenever my customer brings me a motorcycle and says, hey man, it needs a fuel filter. Can you just put a fuel filter in this for me? Well, the difference between a mechanic, a technician, an engineer, or just a parts changer, if you go to a quote-unquote mechanic and he just says, okay, he does it, and then you come pick up your bike and you drive it a half a block down the road with a new fuel filter on it, and it breaks immediately, well, then guess what? You've just done business with a parts changer. Because the one thing that I have to explain to my customers is that, you may know, yes, you may have a good educated idea of what could be wrong with your motorcycle. It's your motorcycle. 9 times out of 10, you're right. But we're going to have to put hands on it. We're going to have to look at it ourselves, and we're going to have to see. Because let's just take, for example, a fuel filter. The difference, again, between a mechanic, a technician, and engineer versus a parts changer is this. Okay, I want to know, how long ago did you replace this fuel filter? How long has it been on the bike? How many miles have you put on it? That's going to tell me about how much fuel has gone through it. Do we have a faulty fuel filter? Is it preventive maintenance? Or are there other things at play? Did you maybe just get a tank of bad gas? Right? Or another thing too, we got to look at the inside of your fuel tank and make sure that we don't have rust or any other foreign, substances in there. Sometimes if your gas sets for a long time, it turns to lacquer. Not only we're talking about your inline fuel filter, correct? Well, you have some other fuel filters too in play. Let's say inside the petcock, where you turn your fuel on and off on your motorcycle. So see, those are just some of the small things. Also, one big thing whenever you're dealing with your fuel system too, is that your fuel lines are only intended to last so long. They start to break down, you know what I mean? And that could have been what clogged your fuel filter. So what I'm saying is, we know, okay, yes, you made a good judgment that yes, your motorcycle did need a fuel filter, come to find out. But me just replacing that fuel filter didn't necessarily fix, right, the issue that you're going to have next week, next month, or next year with your motorcycle. So that's what I'm saying. The difference between a mechanic, a technician, and an engineer versus a parts changer is that a parts changer is going to replace what's obviously wrong. If there's something specifically you can see fluid leaking from it, right? Mechanic, a technician, or an engineer is going to not only figure, yes, we know that's wrong, but we want to know why that went wrong. We want to see how we can prevent that from happening in the future, right? And if it's preventive maintenance, then we need to make sure that that's